I have terrible news, everyone. Absolutely devastating news. This episode was intended to be a collaboration between 1989 Theology, Mainstream Dissident, and myself. However, after we got done recording the best podcast of all time, the best podcast that there ever was or will be, we found out in post that for whatever reason, one of our audios did not record. That would be 1989 Theologies. We found out that he was totally silent, and all you heard while he was talking was occasional laughs as he said the best jokes that you will never hear. And we basically just had to sort of scrap the episode, but I didn't want to waste the entire thing. So we're going to look at this episode as me and Mainstream's first collaboration together while TB sat in the corner and watched. I pulled the best clips of myself and Mainstream giving points about certain things, and I cut off a good amount of the episode that was stuff that should be reserved for when we can actually do a collaboration together. So I hope you enjoy this little montage of clips that I've assembled here. Hopefully, we will be doing an actual collaboration in the future, so watch out for that. If you don't want to miss that, make sure to like, subscribe, and hit the bell. Make sure you get all the notifications. And here shortly, we will be putting out a real collaboration. So for now, bear with us. We will get that out soon, and it will, again, be the best episode that you've ever heard or will ever hear. Until you hear the next episode that we do together, because it's only going to go up from here. But for now, let's get into it. Yeah, I think at some point you start to realize that all of the conservative talking points don't matter if you get replaced in your own country, right? If you have this or that economic policy, it doesn't matter so much if your children aren't around to experience it, or if you're being oppressed by this government or system that sees you as an evil oppressor who's responsible for all the wrongs in the world. And so that's where you take the real turning point and you say, I'm not Republican or Democrat. I am taking my own side. I'm a white nationalist, national socialist, whatever you want to call it, because you realize that that's really the thing that matters. Like, is nothing matters if you are replaced. If there's no Americans to enjoy America, it really doesn't matter how it turns out for us then, right? You know, are we really wanting to prop up the country so it can be more fruitful for foreigners to take it from us? You know, like, I think that's a big part of people's political awakening is when they come to those ideas. It's like, yeah, it doesn't really matter. Free market socialism really doesn't matter if you are not around or your kids aren't around to experience it. So I do think that is a very important part of all three of our political worldviews.
I remember one of our first conversations was about that, like, even before I knew anything. And I would ask questions in history class, man. I'd be like, I think my question that I posed to the teacher whenever we were talking about the USSR, or excuse me, the communists and the National Socialists are the bad guys in World War II. And I said, well, wait a minute. Why didn't they just team up? Why didn't they just team up and then they could have conquered the world? And my teacher just like kind of gave me a look, really didn't give me a straight answer. And I just remember thinking, huh. And then I talked to UTB about it, like, once we started talking consistently, probably within the first month. And I was like, yeah, dude, I always thought their uniforms were just awesome. So it is odd to have an affinity before even knowing where life will take you.
I think it's interesting that, I think one of the things that I remember in school about being taught about Hitler and World War II, I like to consider myself a logically minded person, so I like things to make sense, and if things don't make sense like Mainstream, I'll start asking questions. And the question that I had and that I couldn't understand is, why? Why would Hitler and the Nazis dislike Jews so much? Like, you know, it is sort of presented as if it all happened out of nowhere for no reason, and they really didn't like them just because they were Jewish. Like, that was like the only reason. And that just didn't make sense to me. Like, even at that age, which I guess, you know, that's maybe like middle school, high school, whatever. At that age, like, I even understood, I was like, that doesn't happen for no reason. Like, there has to be some reason. And if you ask, it's like, well, it's a lot of propaganda. They made him out to be, they demonize them, they dehumanize them, and that just never sat right with me. I was like, nah, there has to be something more. And unfortunately, I didn't take the time to like really do my own deep dive at the time. But yeah, looking into it, I was like, oh, okay, yeah, there's a lot here that they weren't telling us. But then he brought Nick Fuentes on, and I think at the time when that first happened, I was still subscribed to Daily Wire, and I remember watching it, and he said one of his main problems with the Daily Wire and that whole crew is that they never say anything bad about Israel. It seems like, why is this American company that is supposed to be the, bastion of American conservatism, why are they so obsessed with this foreign country? And I was like, I'm going to put a bookmark on that thought here and pay attention. And as I paid attention, I was like, yeah, these guys are obsessed with Israel. How did I not see that before?
To agree with someone doesn't mean to idolize with them, and to side with someone, be their ally, does not mean to agree with them 100% on everything, no matter what. I think that that is actually what is going to keep our side from succeeding. We have these ideals that we constantly, well, okay, this guy, he believes everything I believe. He's hard against the Zionist movement. He has true American values. Okay, wait a minute, but that guy's not Christian. Or, hey, this guy's Christian and he wants a Christo-fascist nation and he wants white people to succeed and be safe in their country. Oh, wait, but he doesn't like this one podcaster that I like. He thinks they're dumb, so he's out. It's like these little quarrels and bickering. This is going to be our downfall. I mean, am I crazy for saying that, dude?
No, but I think part of the problem is like some of the gripes that these podcasters have with each other, they are valid. There's a lot of bad actors and grifters and things. So and it's hard to know who to trust. That's my thing is like I agree there should be less infighting, but I I think some of the gripes that people have are valid. You hear some of the things they say, and you listen to those other people as well, and it's like, yeah, okay, yeah, there is something that's wrong here. But it's one of those things. It's like it's hard. Where do you draw the line as this person is so problematic that I can't listen to them and they can't be part of the movement? Yeah, I think some of the problems that we have with the other podcasters that we might say, oh, this guy doesn't like that guy and therefore I can't listen to him or whatever, some of it's valid because the problem that we have with them is the fact that they are insincere. They are not good actors. They are bought and paid for, manipulated, compromised somehow, some way, in a way to where it's like it does not matter if they say right things. It does not matter if they agree with us 90%, 95%. There's a crucial disagreement we have, and it's not necessarily a disagreement, but they are compromised in such a way to where if this person has an excess of influence over the movement, they have the potential to sort of jujitsu the momentum in a non-productive way. One of the things, it's like, it does not matter to me right now what Candace Owens or Tucker Carlson says because I don't believe that they're genuine good faith actors. I believe that they are adopting, and then this is part of the problem, is not just with them, but in general, is when people adopt our talking points as a camouflage. They adopt it because that's how you get tricked, right? Is they say a bunch of things that you like so that they can divert all your energy and focus into a direction that is unproductive. And an example of this would be like if they say, well, the problem isn't Jewish people, it's Zionism or it's the Frankist or whatever their thing is. It's like, no, the problem is the Jewish people have a very loyal in-group identity, and that means no matter whether they're right or left or Zionist or anti-Zionist, religious or unreligious, they are going to be using their power and influence in a way that puts their country that they reside in second and Israel or Jewish people first. If they're not Zionists, then they're probably not Zionists because they think it hurts the position of Jewish people in the world. They care about themselves, and so we can't trust them as a whole to do or run anything. And I think that's like a crucial point for me. If you're gonna like say, well, it's not their race, it's their culture. Like these are some very crucial points that we cannot be part of the same movement of people who are saying these things because it is going to lead to a fundamentally flawed foundation that we can't build on.
I wasn't necessarily talking about the content creators themselves. I was talking about the men like you and I. And yes, okay, we are content creators. We're young, budding content creators out here. But I am talking about the men of various ages, young men, middle-aged men, Gen Xers even now are starting to catch up to us. Um, but we do not need to infight on the behest of these content creators. We can take these, because guys, content creators, you guys listening to us out here right now, I hope that you don't leave this and have the exact same opinions as we do. We can line up on a lot of things, but it's all about being able to hear what people like us say, hear what people like those big guys say, and take it and apply it to your life in a positive manner. For example, Nick Fuentes says that working out is gay and working out is just vanity. And I am staunchly against that. I think that that is so idiotic. But I'm not going to stop listening to the guy because his foreign policy is just beyond what I have ever heard before. Like he is, as they say, he's on a generational run. But the Stone, just to touch on what TB said with Stone Choir and Webbin, like it's okay for me personally. It's okay if those two never collab, never necessarily get along, butt heads a little bit. Me, since I have the ability to have that forethought and be able to discern, like, okay, I can pick from here and pick from here. I can take the good things from both of them and move forward in my life. Now, I will say, Alt, when you were saying about the people who use our talking points, us being our far right, if you will, that's what they label us as, but use our talking points to pander to our guys, to rope them back into the conservative party. Like, hey, don't worry, just keep voting red. Don't worry about doing any in real life activism. Don't worry about talking about those nasty, mean things. The Jews are our greatest allies. You do not have to worry about anything. Um, Also, deport them all, like that. Like Stephen Miller, guys. I don't know. He says some pretty cool stuff, but I don't trust the guy. He's a politician through and through.
He's
Um,
Jewish.
exactly. I don't know if I'm allowed. I'm naming them, but I don't know, dude. Okay, hold on. We've all kind of expounded on the podcast thing. You guys can touch on it, but I got to get this off my chest. I am getting freaking sick and tired of throttling my speech on YouTube, dude. I just had a conversation in behind the scenes with someone, and I'm like, I don't know how much longer I'm going, because if you watch my channel, it's a little milk toast. Like I'm not getting to the point. But it is so difficult to throttle my speech on YouTube. And that's where I'm trying to grow my platform the most. But I just had to get that out there.
But yeah, I also wanted to say I disagree with mainstream. I do hope you come away with all of my opinions. I don't want you to go away with your own opinions. You have to believe everything I believe, or else.
Yeah, hit that like button too while you're at it. I'm gonna come in through your window.
Or else, yes. But yeah, no, I think when we're talking about content creators that disagree, I think currently, right now, we're in sort of an ideas phase of politics. We're kind of competing in a political way as to what ideas are the mainstream on the right. That way, when the real test comes, when the moment is really counts, that we can galvanize support behind a party or a person or whatever it is, that's going to deliver real results. And I think that's when it really counts, right? You have Stone Choir and Joel Webbin disagreeing on things. However, I think I have some degree of hope and faith that when something meaningful comes along that kind of presents the idea of a significant opportunity for us, that we can, us three at least especially, can recognize that this is it. This is the guy, this is the party, this is the organization, whatever it is, that is going to deliver real results. And I think that's when it really counts. Where do Joel Webbin and Stone Choir come on? Because there's every now and then there's a major event that occurs, and lines are drawn, and you can tell somewhat easily if this guy is a friend or an enemy, are they for us or against us, by how they respond to those moments. And I know you guys said you didn't want to talk about Charlie Kirk at all, and I don't want to talk about him, but I did say that was one of those big watershed moments where it's like, for me, and I know we've talked about this, and I don't remember. I don't think we totally agreed on everything here, and that's okay. We're all friends here. But when whether or not you believe Israel did it, I don't care really what you believe. I think I did agree with Nick here when he said that, like, what was not acceptable on X was if you didn't believe it was Israel, then people were saying, like, you're a shill, you're supporting Israel. It's like, okay, but, like, I also have the integrity. I have my integrity. I want to be correct. I want to have the facts before I jump to conclusions, because credibility is important. And that was one of those defining moments. There was a few people on X that I muted because they started just going in on him for, like, not immediately blaming Israel. And it's like, yeah, there's connections, and he delved into the connections, but that. And I'm just sort of just using that as an example too of, like, those defining moments where, like, we can see on X, like, somebody acting hostile and sort of antagonistic towards somebody just because they don't jump to the same conclusions. I was like, yeah, I don't like that. And I think that that kind of provides an opportunity for us to see, like, who's on the side and who's not on the side, because there's several people, not in this specific instance but over other instances, that a thing happened and I saw what they had to say about it, and I was like, yeah, this person cannot be part of the movement. Like Captive Dreamer. I don't remember what he said, but he's on my no-go list.
Dude, I agree. Captive Dreamer. He is like some of the stuff, dude, he says, and it's like, oh, he's one of us, and then immediately I'm like, nope, nope. He is what, controlled up.
Yeah, we can't, and that's part of the problem, is we really have to be careful about being tricked into supporting this or that person, because it unfortunately it seems like our side is very prone to being tricked. Like, we are just so desperate, I think, to have people echo our sentiment, that the moment someone starts to lean our way, it's like, yeah, this is our guy, like, we gotta, support his campaign, we gotta do this and we gotta do that. It's like if you look into, like, for example, JD Vance, like, this guy is not our guy. It does not matter what he says. We can be almost 100% positive that whatever he says that we agree with, it is bait. It is a bait and switch. Like, and you don't even have to talk about the Peter Thiel thing. Look at his wife. Look at his kids. Like, this guy is automatically disqualified from people who have our beliefs. Like, that's like non-negotiable, But you still see people on our side saying, JD Vance is our guy. He's going to do good things. It's like, he is fundamentally compromised. He will never deliver results that we want to see. He might be a positive over other candidates, but it's at that point, it's, TB called himself an accelerationist earlier. It's like, that would be that defining moment, right? Is when we have a candidate that can either accelerate or contemplate, or not contemplate, make people complacent. And yeah, we have to be on our guard against being tricked, because I just I see it all the time.
I'll go because I'll keep it brief. Um, I actually, I actually don't think that Nick would necessarily be a leader or a president, as far as, like, if we thought of a dictator of America, if we went to that utopian end and it happened tomorrow, well, if it happened tomorrow, yeah, okay, it probably would be Nick. But I think here in the future, I don't think Nick even wants that. I don't think that he would want to run for president. He might want to run for president, but if we did shift gears into more of a, hey, we only need one more election, type scenario, I think that he would be more of like a Joseph Goebbels or something along those lines. Like, he would be a speaker, a propaganda pusher, if you will. Um, Off the top of my head right now, I know, I know that there is the leader of Patriot Front, who's escaping my name. He help me out. Yeah, Thomas Rousseau. I don't know if he would be that leader. Um, I there are so many groups that are forming across the United States of America. I don't think we know him yet. He doesn't even want to be
He,
president of Return to the Land, dude. He said I would gladly step down, you know? So, oh my gosh.
it's me. Install me. Let's form an army. Let's get this thing going.
I could get behind that, honestly.
I think the guy that comes to top of my mind, we have to get Blair Cottrell to stop being Australian, come over, be an American, and be our dictator.
Dude, yes.
I like a lot of what Blair has to say. He sounds like a real nice guy. He's got the like Chad thing going on. Him, yeah. It'll be a team. It'll be him, Thomas Sowell, and Joel Davis. There'll be like a trifecta. It's like a tri dictator.
Dude, we can get since we're being grandiose about it, we can get the guys from the White Vanguard in the UK to come over as well. Like, dude, that oh my gosh. And then we can all get on the Magic School Bus and it will be only white kids on the bus. It will all drive like but beep 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 beep. But if we that would be sick. If I'm going to be like fangirling, that would be amazing. If we got all of the nationalist groups to stop being nationalist enough for a second to just come to America, and then, hundreds of thousands of young men. But we have to unify first. That's the thing. Before we have a leader, we have to unify.
Where do you live approximately? Like you just tell me like northwest, northeast.
I am in the Northeast. I guess you could say I'm an Appalachian.
Okay,
Yeah.
I could have guessed that.
Yeah, oh, thank you, I think. That, no, I do live in a rural area, but, I'm just a hop, skip, and a jump away from a multicultural society, if I'm being completely frank.
Yeah, well, some of the small towns, they've been spared so far, but it's coming down the pike. It'll be here any moment.
Oh, yeah, it's coming, dude. It's got the little hometown that I grew up in, or at least attended high school at, about 20, 25 minutes away. Um, it is amazing to drive through town on a Saturday or Sunday and just witness firsthand how much the demographics have changed since I graduated high school. It is a little unsettling.
Yeah, it's sad, and it's also sad that like that's literally all we want addressed. Really, I mean, at this point, I don't really want to compromise, but I think a lot of us are willing to compromise in terms of like just please make it stop, please make it stop, and we just need anybody to explicitly say that's our interest. There's so many people that have our sentiment. There's so many people that feel the same way that we do. We ought to have representation of our viewpoint in government, but we do not have it anywhere. We don't have it anywhere at all. And maybe I'm biased because of the people I talk to, but I mean, it's even in my normal life, my everyday life, my friends and family that I talk to. If you start expressing some of these viewpoints, like I no longer feel edgy anymore. Like they are also agreeing with me. Like you start to go down an avenue, and like some of my friends and coworkers and whatnot that I thought were like on the more normie side, and they're not really that interested in politics, but I'll start going down an avenue, and then they'll just plain say what I was like getting at, and I was like, oh, okay, so you're there, like, yeah, you agree, like you're also tired of the country transforming in front of our eyes and being taken from us, like, and we just need anybody to voice that concern in government. And I mean, the ways that it's been done so far are pathetic, and we definitely need more. But yeah, it is sad. It is sad that what is happening is so significant and dramatic and in your face, and yet nobody wants to talk about it. Like the sitting president, I don't think he really has our values, but nobody in mainstream politics, even like Con Inc., they're just barely coming around to saying it. And the only reason they're saying it is because their entire fan base is like demanding that they say something like at least parallel to the ideas. So yeah, it's a very, I don't mean to blackpill here, but it is a very depressing situation that we're in. That's like so many people are so unwilling to talk about these issues.
Yeah, man. In some of my final thoughts, because I know that we all three have like a set time how long we want to record tonight. But some of my final thoughts on that is it is blackpilling. It's a little depressing. However, instead of us all and our audiences sulking in their corners and, just crying about it and just being like, there's no point, why go on? We're so far behind. Guys, this is this about us? Yes. This is also about the futures of our children. If you have children out there, think about the world that you're leaving them. We need to act now. And you know what, guys? If we work hard enough and we make a big enough impact on society, we may see this meaningful change we all yearn so heavily for. We may see something in our lifetime. We may see something, we may be a part of something bigger than ourselves for the future of all of our children. And that's what gives me hope. Because, dude, I'll tell you, man, sometimes I just get so down on myself and I'm like, you know what? What is the point? What is the point of all this? Well, the point of all this is to win. And if we want to win, if we want that competitive edge and we want that winner's mentality, um, we need to start acting like it, you know? Stop them all. Get in there.
Okay. So here's the thing with me, I'm never giving up. I am dedicating my life to this issue. And I do believe that we are the good side. I don't believe that hundreds and hundreds of years of European excellence just disappears in the matter of a century. I think there's a reason that we've achieved what we have so far. There's a reason that we were in control of almost the entire world for as long as we were. I don't think that just disappears over a century. So I do have a lot of hope, actually, that things will begin to turn around. I think things might get bad. I think things might take a turn for the worst in some areas of life and various ways. But I do have hope that, and I do have a faith that we will band together and do what is necessary to preserve ourselves, preserve our heritage and our way of life. I do see us retaking our homelands. I do think that this movement that is building, that we're speaking to right now, I think it has a lot of potential. And I'll just say, I think a lot of people feel the same way that I do. That, like I said, I am not giving up. When it seems that all hope is lost and I think there's nothing else for us to do, the only thing that I'm going to do is get more radical. If it comes down to, yes, and here's the thing. I am playing a game. I'm playing the system because I have a lot to lose, right? A lot of us have a lot to lose currently, and so we are playing it kind of close to the chest and a little safe in one way or another. But the moment we don't have anything to lose, the moment that white people in general don't have anything to lose, and we see before us the very real possibility that everything we love and everything we hold dear will be taken from us, you can guarantee that every single fighting age male is going to respond in a way that they will not be able to handle. You look at history, I don't think so. There's going to be a point there where, if you look at history, we do organized violence better than anyone. So if you push us to that point where it comes down to organized violence, you bet we are winning that conflict, and we are going to win it quickly, decisively, and our victory will be cemented for the rest of time.
I was smiling that whole time. That is in is maybe sadistic as that is to say. I was just eating that up. I love that so much.
Well, because it's what you hate is the proposition that everything is going to be taken from us, and what we love is the fact that we are going to get our vengeance on those people who are taking it from us and cement ourselves in the world for thousands of years to come. That's what we love.
Amen. That's it. That's what we love. That's what it's all about, baby. Never, well, in Minecraft, never stop improving. Yeah, never stop improving, never stop pushing, always keep seeking enlightenment.
Exactly, and I think that's a good spot to wrap it up. I think
Yeah, this
you
was a
guys
great
agree.
recording. We should definitely do it again, gentlemen.
Absolutely.
Audience, if you guys like what you heard today, leave some comments. Like I said earlier in the stream, I will be checking in on both Todd and Alt's channels. I will be interacting with you guys, and it will be a good time.
It was great having you all. I hope you enjoyed the podcast. And yeah, like you said, hit the bell, and you have to hit all notifications or else you won't get notified. But yeah, if you like what we have to say, we're all saying somewhat similar things in our own ways. So if you like what you hear and you need more content, go ahead and give all of us a follow.
Later.